Hello and welcome. The Privileged Executive here. Today we're going to be configuring a FortiGate 200 firewall. We're going to set up NAT. Basically, we're going to offer an internal server to the outside world. FortiGate call this virtual IP. Actually, a lot of firewalls call this virtual IP. So the first thing you need to do is configure your interface. So to do that, you go to Network, Interfaces. We're going to set our role as LAN. We're going to set our alias as whatever you can remember. I'm going to call this LAN server. And for addressing mode, you want to set that as manual. And then you want to set your IP as your gateway's address. So in my case, it's 192.168.10.1. And our server is going to be 10.5. So in order to do that, I'm going to push that out via the DHCP range. So we're going to send 10.5 to our server by giving it no place to go, but take 10.5 out of our range. And we can know which server to SSH into. We want to turn off the lease time because we want this to be leased out permanently. It's a good idea for a server. And then we want to set up virtual IP in the console. So type config firewall VIP. Type edit and then create an entry, internal web server, or whatever you want to call it. Then we want to set our exit IP and our exit interface. So our exit IP will be our WAN address, our WAN interface. And then we want to set our mapped IP, which will be our local server address. I set the exit interface as any, but you can actually set that as the WAN address. And then we set the mapped IP, which is your local server address. Oops, retype that. The exit interface is your public, and the mapped IP is your internal. Which is to exit this or end it. And now we want to configure the firewall policy. So then we're going to edit 5, which creates an entry for 5, and then we're going to create declare the interface which the server is connected to, which is, my case is port 5, and then we're going to set the WAN interface as a destination interface. In my case is port 1 for WAN. Set the source address as all, so anyone on the internet can connect to it. And then set the destination address to the internal web server's address, which is basically the name we declared earlier for the VIP, which we called web server. And then we're going to set the action to accept, and set the schedule to always, which means that it's always live. So you can actually have time policies for like work. I'm going to set the service as all to allow all traffic, and then I'm going to set the NAT to enable, and then end it. Because I'm using a router on the edge of my network, I actually have to do this again. I have to actually take requests from port 80 to my public IP address, and then port forward them to my firewall's WAN address, turning into port 4000, and then we then capture them in the firewall, and then map them to port 80, and then send them to 10.5 out of port 5 to our web server, where it will then be contacted. So there's a bit of a chain going on. But yeah, if you have a firewall and a router in your network, then you can kick the can like this. But if it's on the edge, your firewall's on the edge, then you can just do the first step. So just test it now. Just tested it works. So we type in the address, and hey presto, we're in. And look at that. We're in the web server. This is just how to turn that also into a usable name. So you create an A record in your DNS. So I'm using AWS here. A record, put in the IP address. Basically maps the IP address to a domain name. This calling it reefcam. .my domain. Time to live is 300 seconds. That's fine. So when we type this domain into a browser, it will then give us this web server on the internet. And hey presto, it works. If it doesn't work for you, check your routes in your routing table and also check your policies. Take care now, thanks for watching.